because the elections are obviously something that's covered around the world. They know that an attack that takes place in America on election day, everyone in the world will find out about. So that makes it an appealing target for terrorist groups, but also makes it a hard time for them to strike because the American security apparatus is that much more engaged anyway.
Intelligence officials plan to work through the weekend to determine the threat level that law enforcement should be prepared for through Election Day. From Washington, Trey Yingst, One America News.
In 4 days, we're going to win the great state of New Hampshire, and we are going to win back the White House.
Donald Trump campaigns in Atkinson, New Hampshire, amid tightening polls that show him leading in the swing state. Trump touted his lead in several recent polls and said the country is on the brink of a major change.
We're on the cusp of historic change that transfers power from a failed political establishment and returns that power to you, the American people. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Trump later spoke in Wilmington, Ohio, where he says the dishonest media is getting nervous that he's doing so well.
The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people.
That was part of a campaign ad to be aired in 9 battleground states. The Trump team says it's spending $4 million to buy time for the 2-minute ad, which is normally only 30 seconds long. Meanwhile, the Clinton campaign has its own 2-minute ad scheduled to air the night before the election. A brick wall on the side of a Trump campaign office in Denver is vandalized late Friday morning. Police were called about the anti-Trump graffiti around 7:20 a.m. local time, where they found the words "thief" and "pervert" spray painted on the side of the building, as well as foul language across the front windows. Authorities say they will investigate the situation with all tools they have at their disposal in order to find out who committed the crime. This isn't the first time Denver has seen political vandalism. Earlier this year, a mural of Bernie Sanders was defaced after he endorsed Hillary Clinton. Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus predicts the GOP will maintain control of the Senate. In an interview with Fox News, Priebus said the party would absolutely remain the majority, despite Republicans running in tight races. The GOP party faces tough challenges in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. But the RNC chair is optimistic they'd win the battleground states of Nevada, Florida, and North Carolina. Republicans are defending 24 Senate seats this election, while the Democrats defend 10 seats. WikiLeaks releases its 29th batch of emails relating to the Clinton campaign. The latest revelations show campaign chair John Podesta accusing Bernie Sanders of what he describes as BS conspiracies. Other emails show Cisco paid Bill Clinton more than $250,000 for a speech 2 months before the tech giant was given the State Department's award for corporate excellence. Meanwhile, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange claims the Clinton Foundation and ISIS are being funded by the same source. One America's Sani Unatoa has more.
The fight against terrorism has been at the forefront of the 2016 presidential election, with both candidates touting their plans to defeat ISIS.
They are, and we should declare war on ISIS. We should declare war on ISIS.
I will defeat ISIS. I will protect America.
However, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is claiming ISIS and the Clinton Foundation are being funded by the same source. In an interview with journalist and filmmaker John Pilger, Assange cites a 2014 email reportedly between Hillary Clinton and her campaign chair John Podesta.
That email, it states that ISIS is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Now, this is I think this is the most significant email in the whole collection. And perhaps because Saudi and Qatari money is spread all over the place.
Pilger points out that those same countries gave money to the Clinton Foundation while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, and while the State Department approved arms sales from those countries. And Assange agreed.
Clinton emails reveal significant discussion about it. The largest ever arms deal in the world was made with Saudi Arabia, more than $80 billion.
And according to a 2015 report by the International Business Times, the State Department approved about $165 billion worth of weapons sales from several foreign governments during Clinton's time as Secretary of State. Those countries did include Qatar, Saudi Arabia, as well as Algeria, Kuwait, and the UAE. In the final presidential debate, Donald Trump challenged Clinton to give back donations the Clinton Foundation has received from some of those countries.
It's a criminal enterprise. Saudi Arabia giving $25 billion, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off business, off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly?
Clinton campaign officials have refused to confirm the authenticity of the emails, and the White House has declared that Russia is behind the hacking in an attempt to meddle with the election. Stani Unatoa, One America News.
The State Department releases its fourth batch of Clinton emails, reclassifying 2 of the